For 11 long years, the world believed Kandi Burruss and Todd were one of reality TV's strongest power couples, but a single moment, one unexpected shift, has shaken that entire story to its core. And now, for the first time, Kandi is speaking in a way she never has before. Her voice is heavier, her tone sharper, and her message? Shockingly direct. Fans are calling it a confession. Others are calling it a warning. But everyone agrees on one thing: something serious has happened behind closed doors. In recent interviews, subtle hints slipped through her carefully chosen words, hints that suggest not just tension, but deep emotional wounds she kept hidden for years. Wounds she now seems ready to reveal. Social media is exploding with theories. Did Todd walk out? Did Kandi finally reach her breaking point? Or has the truth been buried for so long that even the calmest surface can't hide the storm underneath? One thing is clear: Kandi's latest statements have ignited a fire that's spreading faster than anyone expected. And the question every fan is asking now is chilling. What really happened after 11 years? And why is Kandi finally speaking now? For more than a decade, fans believed that Kandi Burruss and Todd were one of the most unshakable couples in the reality TV universe. Their marriage seemed like a power partnership built on trust, teamwork, and determination. Whenever drama unfolded on screen, the two of them stood side by side, presenting a united front that convinced viewers they had mastered the art of love under pressure. But what the world didn't see, what the cameras could never fully capture, were the subtle cracks forming behind the scenes. Cracks that Kandi herself is now hinting may have been deeper than anyone imagined. In the early years, their relationship looked almost untouchable. Kandi, a multi-talented mogul in the music and entertainment industry, and Todd, a calm, collected partner with a strong work ethic, together, they seemed unstoppable. Their chemistry was undeniable. They shared dreams, responsibilities, and the heavy spotlight that came with reality TV fame. Their bond looked steady, secure, and resilient. But as time went on, the line between their public persona and their private reality slowly started to blur. For fans, the signs didn't appear clearly until recently. But for Kandi, those signs may have been there all along, hidden under layers of composure and professionalism. In her latest interviews, her tone has changed dramatically. Kandi, who is usually bold, outspoken, and full of confidence, now speaks with careful restraint. Her words are deliberate, her pauses are heavy, and her expression carries a weight that can't be ignored. When she softly said, "Some things were just not okay," the internet froze. It was a simple sentence, but the emotional pressure behind it was unmistakable. It sounded like a confession, or at least the beginning of one. Within minutes, social media ignited. Fan pages, gossip forums, TikTok creators, and Twitter threads exploded with theories. Some fans insisted that Kandi's eyes revealed emotional exhaustion, as if she had been carrying the weight of unresolved tension for years. Others argued that the pressures of fame, business ventures, and family responsibilities had finally taken a toll on the couple. But regardless of the interpretation, one thing was clear: Kandi was not speaking the way she usually does. Then came the moment that amplified everything. In another interview, while discussing long-term relationships, Kandi reflected on the idea of staying silent for the sake of peace. Her exact words were chilling. "Sometimes you stay quiet for too long, and then it breaks you." This wasn't the confident, unshakable Kandi fans were used to. This wasn't the Kandi who always knew what she wanted to say. This version of her seemed more vulnerable, more tired, more emotionally bruised. And that vulnerability sent shockwaves through the fandom. Fans began digging deeper, even pulling up old clips where Kandi once mentioned that every marriage has challenges. But the contrast between her past positivity and her current emotional vulnerability was striking. It made people question whether the issues she's hinting at have been building quietly for years, hidden behind the glamorous facade of celebrity life. And then, there's Todd's silence. While Kandi speaks in cryptic emotional fragments, Todd has remained almost completely quiet. No long statements, no clarifying comments, no social media reaction. Nothing. For some fans, his silence is a sign of maturity, a refusal to feed rumors. For others, silence is suspicious. Silence is a statement in itself. Silence makes everything more complicated. Meanwhile, Kandi's subtle social media posts added another layer of mystery. She didn't name anyone. She didn't reveal any details. But her captions carried an energy people couldn't ignore. Protect your peace. Sometimes walking away is the only way. Silence speaks louder when the noise becomes unbearable. These posts could be general, uplifting messages, or they could be intentional, emotional signals. And fans wasted no time in connecting the dots. Some believe Kandi is trying to express something she isn't ready to say outright. Others think she's emotionally drained and simply releasing her feelings through vague captions. And then there's a group convinced that something major happened behind closed doors, something she's now finally ready to confront. But is any of this true? Are fans reading too much into cryptic messages? Or is Kandi genuinely preparing to reveal something that will change everything? But this story is just beginning. Kandi's emotional tone, Todd's silence, and the wildfire of speculation online all point toward one truth: something is happening. Something real. Something heavy. And whatever it is, it's only now starting to surface. Expose the emotional cracks forming behind Kandi Burruss' carefully controlled image. Part 2 pulls us deeper into the rising storm that fans believe has been brewing for far longer than the world realized. Because once Kandi's subtle confessions began circulating online, the internet didn't just react, it erupted. Gossip channels, celebrity commentators, and even silent watchers who rarely engage in drama suddenly had something to say. And every new comment, every new theory, and every new source added fuel to a fire no one could put out. At first, people thought they were misreading her tone. Maybe Kandi was just tired, emotional, or stressed from work. Maybe her interviews were being taken out of context. But then, multiple interview clips surfaced back to back, each carrying the same heaviness, the same guarded expression, the same emotional restraint. It didn't feel like coincidence anymore. It felt like a pattern. One clip showed her pausing before answering a question about long-term relationships. Another showed her deflecting when asked how she and Todd balance work and marriage. And then there was that moment, subtle, but powerful, when she looked down, sighed, and said quietly, "You can't hold everything in forever." That single line was enough for fans to declare that the marriage may have hit a breaking point. Theories multiplied so quickly that even people outside the RHOA fandom started paying attention. And that's when the story expanded beyond Kandi's words and into the territory of what really happened behind the scenes. Some fans dug up old episodes where Todd and Kandi clashed over business decisions. Others revisited moments where their communication issues were highlighted. A few even pointed out times when Todd appeared distant or frustrated. None of these clips confirmed anything, but they added to the narrative fans were already building. Because once the internet decides a story exists, it will find evidence to support it. Meanwhile, Todd's silence only magnified the tension. Fans wanted him to respond, to clarify, to defend, to deny anything. But Todd said nothing. He posted nothing. He didn't react, he didn't comment, and he didn't give the media anything to twist. Some took this as maturity, but others interpreted it as avoidance. And in the absence of answers, rumors began shaping their own truth. Whispers began emerging about strain caused by their busy schedules. Some claimed Kandi felt overwhelmed by the demands of being both a mother and a mogul. Others believed Todd felt unheard or overshadowed by Kandi's massive success. None of these theories were confirmed, they were pure speculation, but they snowballed anyway. Soon, more insiders came forward, claiming they noticed tension between the couple during public appearances. A former crew member from a past production even hinted that they'd seen heavy conversations backstage between the two. But here's the important part, none of these claims were verified. Not one. Yet in the world of celebrity gossip, speculation spreads faster than facts, and the absence of clarity encourages assumptions. As the drama escalated, fans turned their attention to Kandi's social media again. Her captions continued to spark conversations. Growth hurts before it heals. You can love someone and still lose yourself. Not every story needs to be told, some speak for themselves. Each post created a new wave of theories. Some followers believed these were emotional signals. Others said they were motivational quotes being misinterpreted. But once the gossip train is running, it doesn't stop for logic. The moment that truly shifted everything, however, came during a Q&A session when Kandi was asked if she believed long-term relationships can survive without honest communication. Her response was immediate and heavy. If you stop communicating, you stop connecting. And once the connection fades, she paused. The room felt tense. Then she added quietly, you start to question everything. Fans couldn't believe what they heard. Comment sections exploded. Creators clipped her answer and posted it everywhere. Within hours, the internet was filled with titles like, Kandi hints at emotional detachment. Kandi suggests communication breakdown. Kandi is finally speaking up. But still, nothing from Todd. Kandi's raw emotion versus Todd's silence became the new battleground of online debate. Who was hurting? Who was holding back? Who was trying to speak? And who wasn't ready to listen? With every new clip, every new caption, every new fan theory, the tension grew thicker. Even those who once believed the couple was unbreakable started questioning everything. Some fans insisted this was all overblown, that marriages go through phases, that the media exaggerates everything. And they are not wrong, relationships do have challenges. But fans weren't reacting to the challenges, they were reacting to the change. The shift in Kandi's tone, the heaviness in her eyes, the sadness behind her smile, the silence from Todd. Something felt different. Something felt real. Something felt like a storm slowly growing stronger. By now, the world was no longer just observing Kandi Burruss interviews, it was reacting. The subtle shifts in her tone, the fleeting expressions of fatigue, the small but pointed pauses, every detail was dissected online. Fans, commentators, and gossip channels alike began piecing together a narrative that seemed more intense than anything publicly acknowledged. The public's fascination wasn't just with Kandi, it was with the tension, the unspoken words, and Todd Tucker's enigmatic silence. After 11 years of marriage, viewers had grown accustomed to seeing Kandi and Todd navigate life with a measured blend of grace and drama. But suddenly, the public began to notice a new layer, one of unease, frustration, and emotional vulnerability that had previously remained hidden. This was not a minor quarrel or a fleeting misunderstanding. The combination of Kandi's carefully chosen words and the reactions online suggested a far deeper story, one rooted in years of personal struggles and private challenges. One of the most striking elements was Kandi's guarded yet candid body language during recent interviews. Her posture was composed, but her eyes betrayed exhaustion and contemplation. Fans remarked on the subtle tremor in her voice when she discussed communication and connection. Every sigh, every pause, and every carefully weighed sentence became fodder for speculation. "She's carrying something heavy," one fan commented. "You can see it in her eyes." Another added, "This isn't just about work stress, something bigger is happening." As this emotional wave swept across social media, Todd's presence, or lack thereof, became a central point of discussion. While Kandi's words hinted at personal and emotional struggles, Todd had remained publicly neutral. No posts, no clarifying statements, no rebuttals, just silence. Fans were torn. Some viewed his silence as a sign of strength and discretion, suggesting he didn't want to inflame rumors. Others interpreted it as avoidance, a lack of accountability, or even complicity in the growing speculation. In a world where every gesture is scrutinized, Todd's quiet presence, or quiet absence, was interpreted in every way imaginable. Meanwhile, the internet's fascination began to grow exponentially. Clips from past seasons of their shows were revisited, this time through the lens of Kandi's emotional evolution. Moments of subtle tension were highlighted, small disagreements became key evidence, and even neutral interactions were framed as meaningful. Each detail, once overlooked, suddenly felt significant. Fans became amateur analysts, piecing together a mosaic of possible causes for Kandi's recent hints. Was it the stress of balancing personal and professional life? Years of unspoken emotional strain? Or something else entirely, hidden behind the closed doors of their home? Adding fuel to the fire were Kandi's social media posts, carefully worded yet emotionally charged. Quotes like, "Sometimes, holding it in is more exhausting than speaking up, and peace is priceless, even when it means stepping back," were dissected line by line. Some followers argued these were vague, motivational messages. Others insisted they were coded confessions. Every post seemed to reinforce the narrative of emotional struggle and silent tension, leaving fans desperate for clarity. And as speculation grew, so did the stakes. Fans debated endlessly. Was Kandi signaling a turning point in her marriage? Were these the first signs of a permanent rift? Or was she simply sharing personal reflections without intending to confirm any drama? These questions dominated comment sections, forums, and gossip channels, creating a frenzy that even the most composed public figures would find hard to ignore. Then came the discussions about emotional fallout, the human side of fame. Kandi, like anyone in the public eye, must navigate scrutiny while processing personal emotions. The weight of expectations, the pressure to appear strong, and the reality of private struggles under the constant gaze of cameras created an invisible battlefield. Fans began expressing empathy for her, recognizing that beneath the celebrity glamour lay real feelings, real stress, and real challenges. Statements like, We forget they're human too, or even stars have private pain flooded social media, blending concern with curiosity. But the ambiguity of Todd's position continued to fuel debate. Every speculation about Kandi's statements was shadowed by the unknown, Todd's perspective, unvoiced and unseen. Was he aware of the speculation? Did he understand the emotional impact of Kandi's words? Or was his silence a deliberate choice, a way of managing private matters without public interference? For viewers, the absence of answers made the story even more compelling. Every theory seemed possible, every speculation plausible. The emotional and narrative tension is undeniable. The combination of Kandi's candid yet cautious statements, Todd's quiet neutrality, and the feverish online analysis creates a perfect storm of curiosity, suspense, and drama. Fans are left asking the same questions over and over. What truly happened behind the scenes? How did 11 years of marriage reach this point? And, perhaps most importantly, what will happen next? The answers remain elusive. The story is unresolved. The speculation is relentless. And in the world of celebrity gossip, when one star hints at vulnerability and another remains silent, the public can't help but fill the silence with their own interpretations, theories, and judgments. The tension is real. The mystery is growing, and the narrative is far from over. Now, after everything we've uncovered, the big question remains, what do you think? After 11 years of marriage, countless ups and downs, and years of private struggles brought to the surface by Kandi's recent statements, the internet is buzzing, and the story is far from over. But what really happened behind closed doors? Was it emotional strain, miscommunication, or something else entirely that led to this point? And how much of the truth is Kandi revealing, and how much remains unspoken? This is where you come in. We want to hear your theories, your opinions, and your insights. Did Todd and Kandi reach a breaking point? Or is this just another chapter in a complex, long-term relationship? Are fans overanalyzing the signs, or is there really a deeper story waiting to be told? Comment below with your thoughts. Your perspective could be the one that uncovers the missing piece of the puzzle. And don't forget to hit that like button if you've been following this story from the beginning. Every like shows your support for keeping up with the latest, juiciest celebrity news, and it lets us know you want more updates, more behind-the-scenes drama, and more analysis of Kandi and Todd's evolving story. Finally, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next shocking chapter. Trust us, things are only going to get more intense from here, and you'll want to be the first to know every secret, every hint, and every twist as this story unfolds. So, what do you think is really happening with Kandi and Todd? Are we seeing the beginning of a dramatic reveal, or just a normal relationship in the spotlight? Drop your comments below, join the discussion, and let's uncover the truth together, because in this story, every detail counts, and every opinion matters.